Graham Haxon, follow Jegs on Instagram. Hit target. Juicy boobs, man. Show us that I'm the best.
Joe Russell, just hope I missed the GoPro. Look, Gemmell, bench warm up.
What did he say? Bench warm up.
For the Gents ones as they took on the crossbar challenge. Alistair, I've got to say, while we're broadcasting just a little peek behind the curtain, me and Alistair don't get the audio from that, but there is a very funny moment you'll have all seen as Shawal says, "I'm the best," and then misses his first take. He's the only one to nail it for a second. So when he put up the big game in front of the camera, and he delivered as well. So yeah, I'd like to see the confidence in the guys.
Confidence pays off sometimes. That's why when I would walk up, I'd be like, I'm going to do it, and then the ball would trickle, and then you walk away.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I'm sure Captain Steve McKenzie, when he sees this back, I'm not entirely sure he'll be happy with the treatment he got and the reminder of previous attempts at crossbar challenges you'll have seen there as well. But fun aside, because it's time to look forward to the game that's going to take place today. And before we get into the action, as we're a couple of minutes away from pushback, we'll take a look back at the recent results for the two sides. And Uddingston, well, it has been a pretty good start to the season. There's still room for improvement. I think that 3-2 defeat the last time out on the road at Watsonians, it was a last play penalty, short corner I should say, that was converted for the hosts there. So on the brink of a 2-2 draw on stealing the points, but lost it right at the death. Otherwise, pretty much as expected. Grange, as we'll see from Western's result, they're actually the only team to have beaten Western in the league. So our defeat against them, very explainable on that count. And another difficult task for the guys today, and they'll have keep their hopes up and hopefully a good result to boot as well today. For Western, it has been a particularly busy time for them. Those bottom two results there, EHL action, came straight back and into a double header against Dundee Wanderers and then Clydesdale as well. Two very convincing wins off the back of that. But Alistair, just a quick note on that EHL. Club's first win beating Pilsen, then the 3-1 win. And obviously, expectations I'm sure were not massively high when you're taking on a Dutch side of the calibre of Kampong. Like, it's more about just getting to the knockout 8 and seeing what happens from there. Yeah, I think getting to the EHL is such a huge thing for any Scottish club. I think Kampong played, I can't remember the exact name, but another Dutch team anyway in the game before, and it was such a tight game that Western always had a tough fight on their hands coming into that game. But I think you can just take experience from games like that. Like, for some of the young players in this team, getting to play against such top quality Dutch sides is fantastic. Certainly EHL shared on their Twitter for it as well, an interview with Fraser Moran, who's on the pitch today. Certainly very excited about things happening. We'll take a quick look at the tables. The teams are almost ready to get things underway. You see how things stand at the moment heading into this one. Just a few seconds away from pushback, Finn waiting in the middle, but certainly one that Western will be looking to cement their place as one of the top three. And for Uddingston, it's a game and a chance to try and pull themselves away from that middle of the pack and into the upper echelon. We'll take a quick look at the home teams as the game gets underway, and we'll keep you posted just anything that comes up throughout that. But first, the home team, very much of a muchness. Fahmi Khalid picked up a couple from short corners, certainly one to watch for. And let's take a quick look at the opponents as well. Rob Harwood captains the side as Uddy on the early charge, but certainly a strong side from the visitors as well. We'll be keeping tabs on how they do as well. Opening exchanges. We have Uddy on top for the first little foray. It's what you want to see, Alistair. You get the game started and put the visitors on the back foot straight away. Yeah,
we've talked about tempo quite a lot recently, so it's actually really good to see Uddingston getting to set that tempo so early and getting to put pressure on. The fact that we've got ourselves up into their 25 so early just gives a wee bit more confidence and a bit of time on the ball.
Western will drive this down the channel, but door open for Jed Campbell to step onto and gather. Strachan. I think it's just caught the foot of Louis Gardner there.
Really good touch in the middle though from Max. It's kind of a bouncing ball, loose in the middle of the park, so to get that and move on is quite confident to see from a young player.
Western still holding at the back. Both sides will need this first quarter just to try and feel each other out, work out what each other's trying to do and respond accordingly. They'll apply the pressure as Western still move it left to right and try and find some options. I think they found it down the left side, but Campbell steps up into play. Decision goes against him though. Tip just runs away there from Harwood.
Really quick balls getting played around though. They're just setting themselves up to play that ball down the line, just moving it back from each side of the defence when play the ball up the line. So they've obviously got that kind of in their roster, and that's where they're wanting to play down.
Mackenzie, Derek, back to his captain, and can't find a way through Harwood, but at least they can keep possession. Fanny recycle the shout as it's pushed left. Mamat, the crash down this left hand side. He's got options in the D, trying to break through himself first. Can't find a route through the defenders.
Mamat there was just kind of left unmarked. It was a good kind of spot there to get that ball through, so really nice to see.
Western again try that pass deep down the left flank, and then cut it back inside as well as Weir cutting in towards the D, looking for the first opportunity for the visitors. Dancing at the edge, and Uddingston really only able to slow down rather than stop at the moment. Western and probe that right hand side. Humphrey. Moran and Humphrey can't find a route through the centre. They'll try again down the flanks. Little tip from Halliday to force it out of play. A little bit of that needed from Uddingston now, just to try and disrupt and not let Western get in too much of a flow in the attacking phases. Yeah, we've got 11 men now behind the ball, and we're keeping Western out in terms of they're just kind of playing this ball around the back. This is kind of the first break they've had down the line, but I think they need to kind of find a way to break this down and get a counter. Flip through the sticks, and Uddingston get the decision as well. Chance for a couple of rotations. Shawal looking for a bit of room. Fahmi shows just too much of it to the baseline. I was unlucky, he was kind of just trapped in by players, and he's thought he's had more space than what he's had. A battling there for Campbell on the edge of the D. He's managed to do enough and hopefully set teammates out on a counter. Humphrey there and slow it down, but Young. Shawal trying to keep it alive, but that will trundle ahead of play. Now Campbell. Haxton just show too much of it down the right hand side.
Really good ball though. That's a really clean ball. It's just unfortunate to pick that up. It's hard obviously picking up on reverse no matter what, and with the kind of pace on it, but Alex was good to get himself out into that sort of position. It was a really good ball through as well.
McAllister. And Young trying to make a nuisance of himself, but still McAllister trying to power forward. Shows too much to Haxton. Shawal driving through the heart of the Western defence, just doesn't quite come off for him. Mamat might get a second goal though himself. Young pushes across and forced out and behind.
That pick from the Western defender there in the top of the D is something else, just to have that one-handed reverse and everything.
Just in a little bit of awe there,
I'm impressed, yeah. Really good play though from the Uddingston attack as well. I think Ben's just got the right idea to get that ball and try and get a sneaky ball across the line. It's just also not falling into a stick like we had wanted it to.
Young again looking to cause a little bit well this time. The left side as he's trying to shield and work something. It goes against him though. Western defence very comfortable in possession and just looking for their gaps, finding them at the moment. Nearly showed too much of that to Mamat. And there is too much shown, but there's only a delay for the visitors as they keep things moving. Duke push this wide right.
I think the one thing you're seeing in this game is both teams are actually having a lot of space with the ball. You're seeing these kind of big transfers. We were playing bigger transfers kind of along the line, but it's making the pitch look massive. Even when we are getting into D and it's getting really tight, but this kind of middle half of the pitch is very spread out.
Worked well into D, missed strike. Big opening there for the visitors. Might still be. Cadlin can power it away, but let's hit Halliday and it'll be a short corner.
I think that's actually really unlucky because there was a swing and a miss, but umpires obviously not seeing it as being dangerous, which is why he's continued to play. And Next made a good save. It's unfortunate that you've got one of your players standing there and you parry it away. It's just he's got no control. I think the vision probably from that mask is so limited that he's not been able to see the player to his right.
First short corner of the game. A real opportunity for the visitors to get off the mark. Wrong from a defensive standpoint, just unlucky in the block there, Alistair.
Yeah, definitely. Everyone's in the correct place. It's not as if you can do it. And, there's power behind that, I think, more than anything else. So there's no fault for anyone, I think.
Wilson trying to smuggle it through the centre, but umpire will pull him back. Well, we're expecting a tough afternoon for Uddingston, and now a bit of work to do to get themselves back to parity.
I think it could definitely come either way. In this kind of first 10 minutes of the first quarter, you've seen end-to-end action. Uddingston have just been unlucky with a couple of kind of breaks they made into the D. But there's definitely not been kind of domination from either end, which it's good to see. It has been a good game.
Well, that deflection nearly broke kindly there from Mackenzie, but Western attacker not able to get on the end of it in time. Still get the long from it. I think certainly there'll be an element of disappointment for Uddingston that It's really the first proper sighter of goal that Western have had, and they've managed to turn it into something on the scoreboard as well. Like,
yeah, they've converted what was probably their only main chance. They've had a couple of breaks like we have, but nothing too dangerous.
Humphrey just back underway from the umpire's whistle. Bannerman. As Western pulls from right to centre, Mackenzie across to deny Louis Gardner. Can't work it down the line though. And this is something to be careful of, not letting the visitors get too much control and get forced back and back here as we get into the latter stages of quarter one.
Uddingston need to keep their cool there. I think that was kind of like wanting to make a counter, wanting to play the rushed ball, and I think it's not what you want to see. So you want them to take the time to get their own tempo back and not kind of lose their head after losing one goal.
Hardy, Strachan, and now Schwal. It's near side though, right, with room to burst into, trying to find some past the Western defender and get the cross through in, but picked out. Gardner, good strike, fine strike! Louis Gardner pulls Uddingston back level. You see this play again, the clearance gets blocked and opens the door for Gardner to just slam that one in. Fine strike from range.
Really good, and he was left in his zone, so he had all the time to do it. Usually it's quite worrying when you see someone with that much space, but that was what you want as an attacker, all the space in the world to take that shot. It's fantastic.
I'm sure there'll be a little bit of a good feeling there for Halliday as well, that he's the one putting in the challenge, and it's the short corner that's led to the opener that's inadvertently, mind, come off him. A hand in both goals. And Uddingston, well, back on level terms and making sure they keep competing in this one game, like you said, and like you've seen from the table earlier. We'll take another look at that in a little bit. There's certainly the sensation that there's a top three starting to develop in the men's Premiership, and just being able to keep up with them at the moment will do. Western look down the left side, look for an opening, and that puts Body in the way, and that'll draw the umpire's whistle.
I think we just kind of need to keep this pressure on, keep them out, let them play this ball around the back. It is transferring the pressure across the pitch, but as long as we can kind of keep a defence intact, it's working for us.
Another break into the lead, but it comes to nothing for the visitors.
Again, nice and calm there from Alex, getting himself in and getting his body in the way more than anything else to kind of disrupt any attacker attempts to get the ball back.
Campbell, big aerial, but ultimately comes to nothing. Western. Very comfortable in possession, but then it's just a little loss of concentration there from Carl Bannerman. Could work out the word that was coming out of the mouth there.
Yeah.
Little loss of concentration for Carl Bannerman, and instead it's Uddingston able to bring this one out and forward.
We've been saying kind of about the tempo there. You kind of saw Western wanting just to kind of hold that ball and kind of play time more than anything else, but Uddingston are really quick to make a counter attack when we can.
So I'm just having a little giggle there as you're going through that, because one, you're right, I'm not actually giggling about that side of things, but two, Mamat's been throwing himself about, and then another little coming together there, and big reaction from him after the umpire's whistle, and the decision went the other way. So
he likes keeping himself involved.
Yeah.
Nice
Yeah.
animated character. It's great. He's a good addition to the club in general. Like he gets along with a lot of the kids at youth, and he's such a positive figure around. So I think for a lot of them, a lot of the youth will come down and watch for him. So you can see when he's so animated on the pitch, you can see it transferring into his coaching as well.
Coming together there for Craig Spears, and he's the latest to be remonstrating with the officials, but Uddingston still able to bring it forward. Campbell pushed this right young, straight into the keeper, and it breaks down in front of him.
I feel there was other options possible there that he could have used, not just playing kind of directly into keeper. I think obviously at spur of the moment you've kind of got ball on stick, you want the goal, but I think definitely there's other options that he had surrounding him in the D.
It's easy for us to say from up here as well. When you're down there, I'm sure the blood rushes to the head pretty quickly. Meanwhile, Western will be keen to avoid too many repeats of the little slack bit of concentration before, as they wet this one down the left side with more success this time. They'll be keen to restore the advantage they had earlier in the quarter. It looks like Uddingston that are starting to finish this quarter a little bit stronger. Final couple of minutes, and it's those in blue and gold starting to cause more problems.
We've said a couple of times counter-attacking's where we've been getting some good kind of outcomes from counters, and I think that's what the players are starting to realise, and that's why they're wanting to make kind of good movements off that.
And certainly from for us, for presenting this as neutral, or some degree of neutrality, that the counter-attacking style tends to lead itself to a little bit more of a basketball-looking game. And there's certainly been elements of that as quarter one comes to an end.
I think definitely you just start seeing really end-to-end hockey, and it's enjoyable to watch. It's hard to play because it gets quite tiring quite quickly, but if that's the game that the Uddingston want to play and they know they can make things from counters, then they're going to want to do that.
Let's just take another look back at the Uddingston goal that pulled us back level. He's good work down the right side, and Halliday setting that up for Gardner. And I say setting that up, but that's a really, really confident strike from Louis there. Great technique as he shifts that onto the back stick, and Gavin Silvermill, sorry. Don't think there's too much he can do about that one.
What I love is how calm Louis is after scoring it in comparison to Finn to his left, who is cheating like he's
absolutely buzzing. Yeah. And we'll take a quick look at the goal that opened proceedings as well. Western had a good chance right before this short. In the end, they weren't left to rue it for long. And ball in from Fraser Moran. And see, set play routine, first one, and it yielded results immediately.
Yeah, and I think it was Jed there that's on the post. I don't think he can beat himself up over it. He actually did get a connection on the ball, but when it's coming at such a high pace, it's going to be hard to control no matter what. So it's unlucky, but we were able to bounce back from it. I think that's what you've got to take, is you've got to show, you've got to be able to prove to yourself that you were able to go in a goal down but still bring it back to be equal by quarter time.
Players just heading back out to resume quarter two, as I'll be in again after checking your phone and sorting things out. For those that are watching for the first time, don't know, Alistair's in charge of all our social media. So while he's probably doing the latest social media post, Alistair, where can people find Uddingston Hockey Club if they've only found us through YouTube and not anywhere else?
So I thought we were about to make another counter attack there. No, so we are at Uddy Hockey on all our socials except Facebook, where it is just Uddingston Hockey. We have just launched this week a new TikTok where we're going to put our behind the scenes content. There's a wee club tour showing off the exciting bits of the club. And with me in the camera, which is slightly terrifying. But yeah, we're on Instagram, on X/Twitter, and Facebook as well. And lots goes out if you want to find out the results of the games from across this weekend. They'll go out Monday morning, bright and early, and the fixtures for next week will go out at the end of the week as well. So there's lots that happens on our social media, and lots of exciting things that are coming as we come towards things like Halloween.
Ooh, Halloween content, very exciting. And plenty of play on the pitch that looks like it's heading towards. Exciting as Wilson trying to power that through into the Western D, but it doesn't quite come together. Good little spell from Uddingston again to open the quarter. It's Western with a big opening. Cowan through. Strike clicks the post on the way out. Big opening there for Western.
Yeah, really kind of the speed, I think, there is something else from that. The forward there to get himself there. I think he had time to shoot, and I think he put himself into a really hard angle to get an outcome when he took that on his reverse. But Nick was there. Nick made himself big, and I think he put the pressure on more than anything else, which is what you want to see.
I wonder if it's one of those, don't get drawn into cliches too much, but when it opens up so nicely for you like that, you almost have a little bit too long to think about what you're going to do, and decision paralysis maybe took over a little bit there. Yeah,
when you've not got a defender on your back and you've only got you and the keeper, I think there's definitely a bit of like, oh, I've actually got time, I could do something quite nice here. And I think that's then when you do start going, oh, I've gone left, right, I've now got to take up my reverse, and you keep running until you suddenly see the baseline, and then you're like, oh, I've actually now got to shoot. And by that point, you've put yourself into such an angle that it is quite hard to get an outcome, and most players will say that. But he's made the good run. I think next time he'll just want an outcome to come from it.
Absolutely, certainly a little element of concern there at how picked apart the Uddingston defence were, and a bit more work to do for them as the visitors in control. Driven pass through the heart, and it's not red, and Cameron Weir can drive this one in. It comes to nothing.
Talking about social media, I feel like I love it. I get messages through my phone from people from the club saying they're watching. So we've got Gay, who's Jed's mum over in Northern Ireland, watching us live. As every week she's supporting both our kids, Darcy and Jed, when they're live here. And also we've got our friends in Australia. I know Ellie's watching. As she said, another commentary masterclass from us too. So.
I'll take that. I will take that praise. You know, I'm never going to turn it down. So, no, fantastic. Hello, everyone, and thank you very much for joining us. What I will say is we'll try not to make this too much a regular thing, because I don't want to blow up Ali's phone too much. But yeah, feel free to give him a bother, and we'll do our shout outs as we can. As that looked like it was opening up for Ben Young. I think just as he controlled it, he's brought it onto his foot right at the wrong time.
And unlike some of the other moments in the game, I think it was in that sort of position, it was very obvious for the umpire, so he couldn't have even tried to play it off, and it never happened. But
not that you've ever done that, Alex. Not hit a foot or two.
No, I'll clearly say I do that every week.
Western, though, still restricting Ali just to the counters and trying to push forward. Still finding a lot of space in the middle of the park as He's struggling to control things and strike from range. Avalon force it wide. It's
kind of like how I was saying in that first quarter, the pitch seems massive because there is so much space here. And I think that was it. Western's just going to be able to exploit that there by playing straight through two players into their own and getting into the D. I think that's kind of what you're going to see as the game progresses, as space comes more open, as players gets tired. That's the sort of kind of ways that teams are going to get into the D here.
Certainly good movement from the rest of the field, and now opening up another chance, but that'll come off a leg on the way through. I mean, we've done a lot of social shout-outs, just as a reminder for anyone from Western watching. Obviously, plenty of social media channels for Western. If by some miracle you're not following them on that, please do support your local hockey club and across all the channels. I know we're very keen to see Scottish hockey grow, and everyone, I'm sure, from Western's point of view as well, there's a lot of people that put a lot of effort in to make sure this content gets posted and there for you to see. So go have a look and let them know what you think. Cowan. Western have worked it forward. Weir just shows a little bit too much, and Campbell can come through, but not before the umpire's whistle. Alistair, umpire expert, just talk us through that little bit of body language there.
That was the what do you think you're doing? You know the ball should have been stopped. Take it back to where the foul was. It's a good look. Yeah, it's like I think I'd describe it as like a teacher look. When your teacher, they're not angry, they're just disappointed in you, and they're just looking at you like, come on.
What it hasn't done is still doing Western's day, continue to work it down now this left side, and still probing, still trying to cause trouble is Cowan. Around the right hand side is a little bit of work to do as it's pushed through into the D, but it'll run through and all the way out the back. Just runs too far beyond Luca Gardner there as McGregor trying to win it back goes a little too far. Just a couple of rotations for Western now as well. Certainly a different approach from both sides to rotations than we saw from Grange in our opening game.
Yeah, that still confused me how quick they made changes. I think it shocked all of us when it was 2 minutes into the game they were making changes.
A tackle from Uddingston, and then the umpire intervenes. There was a couple that were a little bit contentious there. And just time for a quick set. But Western getting their first from the short now, quarter two. We've got their second short corner and been looking to get away back into the lead of this game, and now they've been presented with one. It's like a similar setup to the first routine. Sends in same target, Moran. Drags this one just wide. Just wide. Little intake of breath there, Alistair. You nervous for that one?
It's actually just the amount of power they get on those flicks. It always it sounds more than anything else. You can just see it. They work on things like drag flicks, obviously, and you just see the power they get behind it. It's phenomenal.
Fierce.
Yes.
Absolutely fierce.
Any more synonyms we can go for?
The better, yeah. Oh dear. No, we've got to get ahead in the game. He's Uddingston able to force the turnover. Middle of quarter two.
It's kind of slowed down a wee bit. It feels like the tempo you saw at that end of that first quarter was so high that it's just taken a wee step back a wee bit.
Just the ebb and flow in this quarter is West, I think, fair to say, more in control of this one, able to dictate, not looking to inject quite as much pace until they really want to, as you're seeing drive towards the edge of D. Moran again looking for room. He is brought down. It will be a short corner. Just that slow quick from Weston starting to cause a little bit of bother.
Yeah. It's an unfortunate shot to give away. I think it was trying to keep that ball out, not wanting to let them get a shot away, but giving the short for something like that, it just feels a wee bit. It's not kind of what you want to give away.
I think it'd be routine number 3 that looks, and he's shaping up similar. Moran finds a way past Hadland. Western retake the lead.
We've bounced back once, bounced back again.
Certainly was a quick response for Uddingston after conceding the first, and something similar would be just what Dr. ordered. There's a little bit of miscommunication though between Young and Derek as that one rolls out of play.
I think you've got to give them the due that those short corner routines are really well worked, and stopping a drag flick anyway is nigh on impossible. I think they know, Western also know what works for them, and they are going to try and keep playing a routine such as that.
Good work to get out of defence there as Western looking to advance. McAllister, it's another goal to bring it out of defence. That's a heavy touch, opens the door for Max Strachan, but can't quite get something in time. Noah now back again to the Western defence. Plenty of touches, and he's waiting for that right moment to drive the ball through the heart. Umpire's whistle will let them edge forward. McAllister again cutting inside from left to centre. Again, he doesn't see what he likes going forward. Happy to go back to his defenders.
Yeah, I think Western now just wanting to make as much as they can of the ball, kind of slow the game down. They know, I think, the pressure they're being put under by an Uddingston counter-attack, and are not wanting to lose off in that.
And now they're looking for a third, and a little bit of gap between themselves and Uddingston. Breaks down in the D. Wilson try and bring this one out. Strachan trying to dance through the tackles, can't quite find a way. Will with the assistance of the umpire. Shawal bursting down this left into the D, trying to find a way to connect with a teammate. We will win Uddingston a short. And that's more what we've been looking for.
Mamat there to make an absolute nuisance of himself on that left hand side is fantastic.
Certainly, I think it's become a recurring theme for the Gents ones. They're doing a really good job of pushing down the flanks and finding a bit of space when they're maybe struggling to create through the centre.
Yeah.
What can be worked from the short routine though? Bit of a change around in the defence for Western there. Driven strike, well saved as Khalid so often a danger from the short corner. Can't find a way past the keeper though. Western look to counter quickly. Good block from Callum Darrick. It's kept things in Western control, but it has slowed them down. Mackenzie trying to muscle his way through. Just coming up against blue body after blue body, and the umpire's whistle will allow Western to keep it under control.
Callum got himself kind of just into that position, moved himself off when he thought he had a foul for Max to kind of walk in and take over.
Shawal, not too much by way of support, does have the only goal scorer for Uddingston today with him though. Louis Gardner, who's broken into the D, but Shawal just not able to find his way through the red shirts. Wilson gets his restarted. Mamat trying to dash through and hits the deck. Gesture of nothing from the umpire there. Now it's the visitors looking to cause problems going forward. Moran pushes wide the right. Coming Inside into the D, important challenge from Jed Campbell.
I think you heard it there, stick to the game plan. I think both teams need to do that. There's a bit of rush coming from both sides now. There's what, 2 minutes left of this this quarter, this half now, and I think there isn't a need to break from what your coaches are wanting you to do.
Certainly starting to feel the energy just tick up a little bit as we approach that nervous tension that you get as soon as the game, with either the start of the quarter or, in our case, at the end of quarters, where I just feel like they've got to make something happen right before the break. And for Uddingston, goal will be just what's required. Derek. Fahmy, goal just across to Haxton. Chawal touches loose, but he thinks he's got away with it, does get away with it. Umpire's whistle bring him back, but it's still in Uddingston control. Fahmy wants Derek to push up and screaming at him to do so, forced to hold instead and wait. Haxton able to smuggle it through the danger. Halliday looking for an option, wanted to drive that early into the D, but couldn't see anything he liked. Haxton, he's trying to try and sweep it forward. It's well read though, nipping in ahead of Strachan, and now Weston crashing through the centre. Little tip from Johnny Christie, but well fielded by the Uddingston defence. Khaled.
I think there's frustration coming in here. I think Uddingston want a second goal before this half, but even Western are getting frustrated, and I think probably it's coming from the pressure that Uddingston have actually been keeping on them, that they're not probably further ahead than where they'd want to be in this game.
Certainly get the feeling from that coming off the pitch that both sides are really desperate for a goal that would alter the game state. Give Western a little bit of breathing room, pull Uddingston back level, but that ball forward is not the way to change it. And loose, and now Duke through the middle. Campbell able to nick it away. And Cameron Moran. The whistle, the shout from Captain Stephen McKenzie's forced to wait on the sidelines, waiting for his rotation. Just to see our timer obviously not linked up to umpires or anything, so a little bit forward, a little lash out there from Mamat, and surely the umpire will have a word about that. Temper's just starting to fray.
Yeah, there's just a bit of frustration coming through, but there's no need to start any time in hockey, but especially not this early in the game. There's no need to start getting confrontational about it.
I've got to say, I'm surprised there from the umpires that there's not more taken. At that, you know, it's very hard to defend Mamat there. That was quite an obvious, strong reaction. As Western just warned about the conduct of their bench, and Captain Rob Harwood just reminded if anything goes wrong, he'll be in trouble for it. Is the umpires let play continue? Goal at the end of the half, right away afterwards. Goes into the break. Uddingston a goal down. It's Uddingston 1, Western Wildcats 2. So we thought quarter two would bring more of the same as quarter one. Certainly did in terms of like the energy, the freneticism we saw at the top and tail of the quarter. Again, much more of a Western in control of large parts of the centre of the quarter. Yeah,
it definitely slowed down as that quarter kind of continued. There wasn't the same kind of end-to-end as we saw at the end of the first quarter. I think Uddingston may be kicking themselves not to have taken a few of the chances that they did get, and the same from Western. Western got a lot more time in the D than they did in the first quarter, and still kind of weren't able to make anything out of it. I think that's possibly what they're now going to be getting talked to about now in this kind of half-time talk, about trying to avoid kind of staying as is and moving to try and get a couple more goals and outcomes.
As we see the 3 goals that taking place across the game, 2 shorts for Western. And it's the same routine twice, so you'll be forgiven for thinking it's 2 runs of the same goal. It's just how it's panned out. Halliday able to get the block in that opened the door for Louis Gardner's fine strike that pulled Uddingston level in quarter 1, and then, as we saw with quarter 2, a rerun for Western of that same short corner routine, and it produced the same result. Certainly sticking to the status quo on their short corner routines. And as you said at the time, Alistair, after the second goal for Western, there was no need for them to change it. It's working every time, even when it's not on target. We saw Fraser put one wide of the post, but still plenty of time to get that on goal.
Yeah, I think a lot of teams' short corners can actually be their downfall. I think this is a team that you can definitely see that they have got good work done in this short corner routine, and getting these drag flicks quite strong. They're keeping them low as well, which makes it hard to defend for the keeper. I think it is genuinely just a very well worked routine, and the power on it is unstoppable at points.
Certainly competition's happening for both sides. You kind of wonder, it's not often you get to half time, and actually the instructions perhaps really for both camps is maybe, I know you just said about the game slowing down in quarter 2, but actually it is probably calm it down, slow it down, and get a little bit more control over things, because right at the end of quarter 2 there we were seeing tempers just start to amp up a little bit, testosterone starting to run a little bit high.
Yeah, frustration starting to come into it. It's early in the game really to start getting so frustrated at each other and at the umpires. Like, you're seeing kind of players just getting annoyed at each other when a ball was off. There's still 2 quarters left and it is only 2-1. It's not as if either team are kind of falling behind or far ahead. I think they just need to come out, start something new in the first half, or in the second half, sorry, actually, and keep their cool, really, more than anything else.
Certainly, as we see the Western keeper already off to get himself in position, and sort of clearly heard enough from coaches about what he needs to do. But yeah, like we say, I think we were looking back, and we'll take a look at the table in a wee sec again, just to refresh people of how things were looking coming into today, because it certainly feels like a really quite crucial game to dictate how seasons are going to develop. For Western, they've had Euro hockey that's kind of impacted things. We saw they had the double header. Obviously, there's no sign of fatigue or wear. Win both their games afterwards in that double header handily. As you can see on the table, obviously a little bit of a gap between Western and Watsonians, with Western with the extra game still to play as well. You see that top 3, and Western will want to use games like this to make sure they're part of it. For Uddingston, just making sure they pull away and keep their distance from that bottom half of the table will help no end.
Yeah, I think that's what probably Western are looking for. They want to use this kind of game in hand to close up towards Grange, who've not lost a game yet. But I think Uddingston also have a good chance here to keep themselves on track for this kind of top 6 sort of finish, and kind of going kind of higher in the league. I think definitely is what both teams are looking for here.
Certainly plenty at stake in this one as we head into quarter 3 in the second half. Umpires final checks as teams get set up, and well, hopefully there's been plenty for you to enjoy from quarter 1, quarter 2. For those of you that have stuck with us so far, hopefully plenty more to enjoy from quarter 3, quarter 4 to follow. Certainly been dramatic, and sure there is plenty more drama still to come.
I just think for you at home, you're not looking like some of the people that have come down to Uddingston to watch, who look rather chilly. It's like a winter's day a wee bit when you look outside there. People in their woolly hats, so I think, yeah, definitely a good choice to stay home and watch live instead of working down here at the club.
There are plenty of hot drinks and the like available should you decide you want to come down, though. And we'd love to have you down on site as well. There's Uddingston doesn't really bother. Start quarter 3 in the D, find a way to break out. Western will do enough.
The Western player there doing well to keep control of the ball and then play the ball off Ben's stick and kind of not forgoing a foul for his team and instead actually just winning the ball back and alleviating the pressure off his own defence.
Western defence, a little bit slack, opens the door. Louis Gardner can steal. Still trying to carry it forward all himself into the D. Lays it off to Campbell. Can't break through the challenge and decision goes against him. Just one of those who are trying to hurdle through a little bit too much there, Alistair.
Yeah, it's unlucky for Jed. It's just obviously like bounced off a stick and into his own foot. Really good there from Louis. You saw the defender look back to the umpire for a foul. I think he's thought he's obviously seen something in the trap from Louis, but no, Louis confident getting the ball and getting a run with it. And also it's good from him to play the ball off and not just trying to run into danger himself, but able to kind of pass that ball off and move himself into a better position.
Certainly seeing a lot from young Louis Gardner today in terms of what he can contribute going forward. It's been tough for him in previous fixtures we've broadcast from here, obviously. That Grange game was a really difficult one, and I'm sure plenty involved with the Gents ones are really happy that this game hasn't evolved the same way that Grange game did. That, you know, the visitors in that opening game had themselves with plenty of breathing room very early on.
Yeah, it's definitely a mentality to the game. I think when you've come from that game against Grange a few weeks ago, a month ago, where it was kind of such a tough fixture, you can always come into games like this thinking the same way. So there's definitely a mental aspect, and that's where the coaches.
Alday drives that across the box. Dippers, flicked effort.
Well,
the Wildcats goal.
Well snuck in more than anything else. It was a well taken. Got a good touch on it. Just an unlucky didn't come off in the direction he wanted there.
Western able to carry through the centre of the park. It's look to respond to that chance for Uddingston with work of their own. Harwood now on the edge of the D, trying to find something, gets nothing from the umpire.
This is that kind of counter-attack in hockey we were talking about, where it is a wee bit like basketball in the way it comes back and forth each end. You saw us kind of having that opportunity, and Western would just run straight back up and put pressure back on us.
Certainly, we're not the only ones that are struggling to take our eyes off this one. Mackenzie, there's enough in the D, and Uddingston start a counter-attack of their own. Is Gardner. Louis Gardner able to bust through the challenge and still holding on to it and battling and get the decision from the umpire. Just gets ahead of himself there.
I think actually he was lucky that he wasn't taking the ball in the correct position.
Oh, just a little less haste, more speed there for Louis there. Shawal driving toward the edge of the D, trying to connect with something in the middle, but runs out and runs behind.
I feel like I keep saying, but they are really positive balls that are getting themselves in, and I think that's what you've got to take here. Is you saw the first goal came from the kind of missed trap from the Western defender. We were able to capitalise on it. I think that's similar to what you're seeing there, that these balls are getting in, they are making their way the entire way through, that you just need to get a kind of blue stick on it.
They said it's Western, the red and white, trying to drive forward and cause trouble, and they have, and they'll get the short. Well, I think we've seen plenty of one routine from Western Wildcats on their short corners. As we said, it's been working, so it may not even change. Certainly setting up the castles the same way. Work for Hadland to do. This is sent in. Same routine, quick block on it. It's Fahmy Khalid that's out quickly and able to get a stop on it. Finally get a good read on this, the Uddingston defence.
That's it, first runner got themselves out really fast. That's the best way to stop a drag flick, is having that first runner out so fast. That is really fantastic running.
Harwood can't find a way through Campbell. Forced to just hold down by the corner. The two of them just trading possession, and then the stick tackle will draw the umpire's whistle. Just getting a little bit fractious in the Uddingston defence.
Yeah, there's now lots of pressure coming. You're needing to alleviate that. It's come now for kind of 2 solid quarters, so you know, you're wanting to alleviate.
Warwood could send across the edge of the D there.
Both teams are playing this kind of very similar ball here that's it's causing a lot of danger, but neither have been able to kind of get an attacking stick on it when it's been towards a goal. I think it's possible that you might see an outcome coming from that if that ball continues to get played.
You'll finally get exactly what I'm meaning to say out of my mouth when they play it at some point as well. Of course, the face of the D, not the edge of the D last time. There's more battling in the Uddingston D hands. Visitors another short corner. Now, and more discussion with the umpires is just a little bit of bother. His temper starting to run hot again. Well, Wildcats' go-to routine, right there. You can imagine. Feels a bit like poker, you know. You're not going to play the same bluff twice, are you? And they are, you know. Fraser, little reverse pass, strike, well saved initially. Hadland again. Danger still not clear. Bobbling about in the D, and finally the umpire's whistle calls it short. Yeah, so a little flash of a card there. Didn't quite see what was going on. See who's come off. It's Johnny Christie that's been.
I just heard kind of big whistle and couldn't see where it was or who it was for.
You got to say one of those. The umpire's cards are very hard to spot for us at this distance, but certainly more signs of the game getting a little bit more fiery as this quarter develops. Darrix just shows too much and leaves the door open for McAllister. And Western look to pounce. Back inside, Fraser Moran just finds too many blue bodies in the way, but not legally. Campbell and then Hadland forced to get a toe on that to keep that one away. Shawal forced to hold in the corner and wait for something. And the flick will be diverted on the way out. Uddingston struggling to break out of their zone. Campbell may well have the opportunities. He looks for the aerial. Another one that's not quite come off for him. Door opened again for visitors to pile on more pressure. Lovely dive and block from McAllister. Done really well to keep that under control.
Really good spot as well to get that ball across. I think kind of both as like the stop and the ball were just kind of fantastic.
Humphrey. Western keep this one moving, trying down the left, but it just runs beyond Harwood. Couldn't quite get the touch on it. Little lifted aerial, McGregor. He got much of a touch on that, if any, and it's won back by Western. More battling as the challenges come flying in. Fraser Moran trying to dodge round and round and round. Does get one through with the umpire's whistle.
There was just like 3 fouls I think in a row there. I think the umpire attempted to play advantage, but nothing was coming of it. I think the frustration you saw was
another opening for the visitors. Hadland, good save.
Really good, made himself big stopping that ball. It's confidence you want to see.
Now Uddingston, the break on the counter, Shawal forced to hold and wait for support, finds it in Campbell. Goes direct to Spears, and Campbell just waves himself off as well afterwards. Spears retreating and retreating away from the D now. Mamat trying to find a way to break through. It's caught a foot on the way. Uddingston's turn to apply pressure in this third quarter. Need a way to bring themselves back level in this one. And that is not necessarily the way to do it. A little frustration there, Alistair.
Not went 5. I think it's so hard to judge, I think, when you're a player that you think you've moved 5, but he barely moved from the original spot where the ball was. I think it would have been a lot easier had he just kind of tried to pass the ball out, but Western did well, I think, there more than anything else to surround him. They put him into that corner and kind of trapped him like 5 bodies around, so it was really hard to move.
Derek able to smuggle that one out. We'll say for those watching from a Western persuasion, Rob Harwood, the captain, did warn me that they've got one player that might change shirt numbers before the game from when he sent the updates to me. So if you're looking for Cameron Banks, he's in 8 today, not 21. As Western still keep this under control.
I used to play hockey with Cameron Banks at the uni. It was a face I recognised as soon as I'd got up here this afternoon. Didn't realise he now played for Western.
Plenty of battling again, and that another card shown. Right, my eyes tell me that was green. Oh, sorry.
That was green.
Yeah, cool. I'm not half. It doesn't help. There's a green cricket pitch in his background as well, but pretty confident that was green.
To be nice at that point, that card was coming after the kind of like 3 fouls in a row that you'd seen before. I think you knew there was a card coming for another stick tackle soon.
Hardy able to get that one away to Shawal. Hardy still trapped in, penned in, still struggling to find a way to break out. Umpire happy to let play continue as Louis Gardner trying to battle through. Again, get reminded to bring that one back. Fahmy tries the driven pass, it's well read. Fraser Moran push this right.
I do now have to kind of remember the arm man down here, that they're going to have to get themselves back.
Just about defending in numbers at the moment for Uddingston, and to be honest, it has been for a good portion of quarter 3, good portion of quarter 2 as well, and there's more defending to do as Western break into the D. Can only find the side netting. Didn't think that came off anyone else, but long corner that follows McAllister. Humphrey back to McAllister. Sees a pass, he wants to drive in, little tip, but only to Stephen McKenzie. There's a stick challenge after challenge, and that will be short. Captain Rob Harwood has won that one well. Just getting a little bit frantic at the back for Uddingston.
Yeah, the amount of pressure I think has been put on them now for kind of 2 quarters straight is starting to tire out the defence more than anything else. I think that's what you're seeing, is the lack of composure. There's not a huge amount of structure coming either, and Western are just able to exploit that. I mean, we had to control the ball and just played 2 kind of rash passes out of it, and then the pressure just piled right back onto you. So.
Well. Now again from the short, it's been a successful avenue for Western, looking to give himself a bit of breathing space in the scoreboard. Change up to the routine, the driven strike blocked on the line, and Uddingston can get it clear. McGregor, he's got to send this forward quickly. Now Shawal, Louis Gardner can get a little tip on that, just can't. Oh, that almost came together so nicely for Uddingston.
It was fantastic from the start. Stephen kind of controlling the flick on the line, taking the time to look and find that player out here on kind of the close side to us. and in that ball, it's just so unlucky that Louis not got more of a stick on it. He was in such a perfect position for it, and everything just unfortunately missed out.
You see, just you need to stretch Louis out a little bit more. give him a half stride that's a little bit longer, and he gets on the end of that. He's Western keep this one at the back, and give me a chance to see if there's any bad language picked up by the atmospheric microphones or anything like that. We do apologise. Obviously, as you've seen across the game, tempers running a little hot in this one. And given how close the game is into quarter 3 and heading into quarter 4, I only expect that to ratchet up. Hopefully we'll do our best to keep the bad language away from you. Good battling from Haxton, gets his reward as well.
You are just seeing kind of more of these stick tackles starting kind of sneaking into the game as both teams are looking for more outcomes.
The pass down the channel goes not quite right for Uddingston. Ben Young not able to get a touch on it from Halliday. I'm starting to see, after pretty much an entire quarter of pressure, we are starting to see right at the death of it some openings for Uddingston, some routes to a way back into this, but it's Western driving in the D. And they're asking all the questions still. Good challenge, and now Darragh. Banks will bring this one straight back, and he's able to keep the pressure on. McFadden pushes forward to McAllister. Ball, it chips up, I think. Campbell's feeling the after effects of it, but play continues as it's zipped across the face of Hadland's goal, and no touch. No telling touch again. The final act of quarter 3, well, sets up a tantalising quarter 4, this one.
Cagey, I think is a good word to use for that. That was Uddingston. I think you've got to give the due in the defence, keeping it out more than anything else, keeping the shorts out. Really good kind of first run. I think you saw him winning the shorts, and then Stephen there on the line to keep the other short out, which is what Western have been clinical on in the first half. I think definitely though it's Western's frustration. I think you'll more see than anything else, because they'll feel that they deserve more goals from that quarter, with the amount of pressure and time that they had in the Uddingston D.
I guess just from an Uddingston standpoint as well, you maybe look at that quarter and look ahead to quarter 4 and go, well, you can only frustrate them for so long, but also the more you keep them at bay, the more you need one moment to go right. And we saw with the chance for Louis towards the end of that quarter there, with like we say, if he's half a stride longer, he gets a touch on that, and at the very least he's calling Somerville into action. But certainly counter-attack has been working for Uddingston, maybe just not quite enough in terms of making the Western goalkeeper work. That only needs to change once, maybe twice in quarter 4 for this scoreline to take on a different complexion.
Yeah, the counter-attack is working, but I think also what it's doing is it's tiring us out, and with the amount of pressure we've got on us as a defensive pack, the counter is just then making the pressure even higher when it comes to that kind of second phase when Western have possibly got the ball back. I think definitely Uddingston just need to take the few outcomes they've had and see what they can get from them.
Almost ready for quarter 4. As Western get it started. The last forays for both sides here today. Said already how important this game could be for both sides' seasons. And we've seen already on the pitch in terms of players' application and players' attitude, how much it means to them. And they've got 17.5 minutes to change things. Shawal. Short, simple pass for Fahmy, able to connect well though, and Campbell can bring this one out. Shawal, plenty of pressure coming. He's trying to dance around the trouble, but hands possession away. Weston take it quickly. They've seen a little bit of room for Christie in the strike, and that is a killer third for Western Wildcats. They're breaking free on the scoreboard now.
Yeah, Western, I think we were saying they needed to be more clinical when they got in the D. I think they showed their intent from the start on how they want to set up this final quarter. I think definitely the pressure Uddingston have been under. The defence might have seen that possibly coming, but now you've just got to look and try and get this next goal back.
Uddingston need a quick response. Try and drag themselves back into something in this game. Strachan on that far right side, trying to be the one to cause it, but said it's Western looking for the big aerial out of play. It's been a tough task for Uddingston, and they've been fighting game late. A little bit of a change for Western, diverted into the D, and it's a short for Uddingston. Come back to that later.
That's the bounce back that you're saying you want. You want to see the teams being able to come back from losing a goal, and now we just need to capitalise on getting a short up in their end.
We won't want to heap too much pressure on this, but certainly feels like a short where conversion is needed as much as wanted now. Seen one look already. Campbell and Fahmy Khalid both will fancy their chances here. Sent in. Little change up in the play. Tip strike. Still not clear. Another block and it'll be a rerun.
I lost sight of the ball there. I just could see players all kind of coming in on top of that. Oh my god.
A little bit messy there, but umpire in the perfect spot to see everything as that developed. Well, didn't quite work that time, the little trick play. And they will run it back again. Could still open up, and now collision right on the penalty flick spot. Shout of pain as well. Hopefully both players are okay. Can't quite see what happened there as the play moved beyond it. Shout from the dugout, just saying they just ran into each other. Wouldn't shock me in the slightest, given the pace at which those bodies were moving around.
It's a hard one there, especially when you don't entirely. The umpire did have a clearer view than we do as to who's collided with each other, but it is a hard one there to work out who's been more at fault. So you've got defensive men running straight at people on the attack. So
a misplay on the aerial opens the door for Mackenzie. Pressure coming immediately. Stick challenge will slow that down. Cheeky aerial up to Max Strachan. The umpire's whistle will put paid to that. I don't think that was entirely dangerous play there. Oh, that will be. Just bouncing up in front of young Max as he's able to carry this back from it, but a little reverse pass is well read.
Not enough power on it. I think more than else it was a wee bit of a hospital pass, kind of, especially in such a position like that. I think Max may have been better continuing going strong into the D.
It's better from him and links up with Halliday. He'll take this one on himself. Forces a good save out of the keeper.
Fantastic save from the keeper.
Should say I've also seen. I'll put a pin in that as Wilson in the D, trying to feed this one across, but it's well read. Humphrey. Oh, Western really struggling to clear their lines now, and Uddingston needs to turn this pressure into something on the scoreboard.
This is kind of what we've seen Western doing the quarter before, is this consistent pressure. It's what you want to see from Uddingston.
Gardner find a way to send this in, but it's well blocked. Western now try and play their way out of trouble in the deep. Foul forced to just put that one anywhere. Campbell, pressure coming. Jed Campbell trying to dance his way through. John Christie able to do enough there. Just a couple of little moments not quite falling the right way for Uddingston in those last few minutes. Now Western start to look to punish as more contact is Fraser Moran looking to the umpires, but Uddingston able to still carry this forward and try and fight for something. And that's a green card. That's Mamat that's green carded there for the afters from the contact there. Gesture of tie from the umpire as well. Got to say I didn't get a good look at the contact, but certainly the opposition dugout as soon as it happened had very strong views with similar mind to the umpire. See if we can see this one back. Yeah, I don't think there's any defending there. Very little pressure on Mamat there. We've seen green for it as Weston try and keep the pressure on. That one across the face of Hadland's goal comes to nothing, but another warning sign.
We keep seeing these, both teams have now had it where these balls have been fired across the goal, and there's a wee bit of kind of like discontent from the Western attack there, and the fact that ball was played, but there were three guys standing there with sticks at the goal that had one of them put it out, could have made a connection that went in because he'd made it round neck and goals, but it is, the ball's getting in through them, but no one seems to be wanting to capitalise on it.
Certainly one of those, I think both coaches will be watching this footage back and putting on a clinic for some of their forwards and the training to follow, because that's a good couple of chances that have been spurned on both sides really. Khaled trying to dance around trouble. Able to work it forward. McGregor. Uddingston needs something soon. Alex McGregor, just a sea of red and white around him, forced to play it back. Spears, pressure coming quickly, and now more temper starting to flare between Spears and Captain Rob Harwood. And Spears sees a red card there. Looked like a little bit of back and forth between the two players, shoving back and forth, but clearly the umpire has seen it differently. There's going to be a quick consultation on that one. And temper is certainly fraying in the last few minutes for Uddingston, and it's going to make the final 10 minutes or so all the more difficult now.
Yeah, I think we said that frustrations were fraying, but I don't think there's a need for a reaction like that from either player, especially not to try and kind of square up to someone in that sort of way. It's an unnecessary thing to do in a game, especially in hockey.
Sorry, just a little communication in the dugout there as I think the umpires were clarifying how much time is left. And I'm sure I just heard the number 20, which shouldn't be mathematically possible for quarter four, or any of the quarters for that matter. But yeah.
No, I heard 3:20, which means it was on a card, but then I'm not sure who had a card of that. Like I didn't see someone getting a card of that length, which is why I'm more confused.
3:20 makes a lot more sense than just 20.
No, I don't think it was ever 20. There was definitely a number beforehand, but.
Either way, Uddingston, well, it's going to be back to the wall from here on out, you'd imagine. Loose touch from Fraser Moran. He's had a good game though, and he's looking to cause a little bit more bother. Cute little reverse pass. McFadden with this one left. And the Uddingston defence needs to get out quickly here. Gardner, forced to put that one out of play. I mean, Alistair, with the disciplinary issues, really is time for those on the pitch just kind of, I guess, buckle down and fight for it. They're all in this together to try and make sure that it stays this way. Really, I guess it's gone our thoughts of trying to claw our way back into this one. As I say that, Mackenzie able to link up with Haxon as Uddingston drive towards dangerous zones. Still plenty of those in red and white between, but Mackenzie into the D. Can't find a teammate though, and it'll break down. And those opening chances at the top of quarter 4 look all the more vital now, given the current situation. And those in red and white now with the play can just creep forward and forward. Humphrey. Now Fraser Moran. Really is back to the wall for those in blue and gold. McFadden, Humphrey. Plenty of time for those in red and white to build this one towards the D, but breaks down as soon as it gets there this time. Duke able to dance through challenges and tee up something in the D now. Opening for Wildcats, good save from Hadland. He's got more work to do. Just about able to keep the visitors at bay again. Haxton can't bring that out himself, and now he'll have to move thoughts back to defensive as Christie's shot just wide. Up the shout from the Uddingston sidelines as the rotations start. Chance for fresher legs to try and force something different. The ball for Haxton to chase though will run on and on. Callister now inside, and Western on the edge of the D again looking for shooting opportunities, can't quite find one. Uddingston just about holding at bay. The long aerial for Shawal will kick on and run. Paxton. Not just apologise for any strong language, starting to see, already seen in the cards issued by the umpires, but obviously tempers running hot here today. Do apologise if anything from that picked up by the microphones is a little bit loose from Uddingston, hands possession away in a dangerous zone. They can't afford to do that too often.
I think both teams now are kind of settled in a way that neither are able to kind of break through in any sort of way. Uddingston now probably have more frustration at the fact they've lost a player to a card. That they're then going to struggle to get anything from it. I think they need to keep their cool for the next kind of 10 or however many minutes are left off the game, to try and at least get something back from it, because it's definitely been an end-to-end game, and I don't think the scoreline fully reflects it.
Just runs out for Western on the latest charge forward. Certainly been plenty of chances for the visitors. Uddingston have been restricted more, but there have been little flashes, little moments where the game could have turned, as we've said. Didn't quite go the right way for the hosts. That's a little misplay forward from Harwood, and now Uddingston try and break out. Halliday, it's just a red and white wall in front. That means he's trying to poke gaps in the sidelines, and it's smuggled out of play off Uddingston last, and just turns over possession and just keeps the pressure on again. Need to make these counter-attacks or turnovers stick for just a little bit longer, get a little bit more breathing room.
Aye, unlike what we kind of saw in that first quarter, neither team were able to kind of like breaking free through like Joey to get an easy sort of ball through the middle. There hasn't been that. It's been a lot of kind of build-up plays. I think Western have just been more clinical when they have got into Uddingston D to get outcomes.
Really good, important challenge there from Mackenzie. Bannerman was hurdling tackle after tackle. The door for Campbell to try and work something forward. He's just trying to battle through body after body, but needs help from the umpire's whistle. Halliday right at the back and trying to connect with Mackenzie. This to the near side. Driven ball in for Wilson. Get a touch on it, but can't keep it under control. Wildcats recover, and there's a little bit of impetus from some of the forwards to get crashing ahead, and now they'll have a little bit of work to do. Halliday gets to stick there ahead of Calder.
There was no one back there for Uddingston. Kind of Western had, it was like a 3v2, 4v2. I think Uddingston just need to keep their heads and try and keep going to the end of this game. There's no point in just kind of.
Do you think both sides have kind of given up in different ways? Uddingston given up in terms of defending because I assume that they're thinking the fourth, it's better to push for a second and concede a fourth and then the other way around. And for Western, it's almost a reverse, that 3-1 is a scoreline that they seem to be happy with, and it's more if there's an opportunity they'll take it, but certainly no impetus at different moments from their attackers to try and force a fourth.
Yeah, neither team want to lose something that they don't have right now, so Uddingston don't want to keep losing goals, and Western don't want to lose the points that they've got from this game. So you are seeing it kind of from both ends here.
Wilson trying to drive this one to D. Young trying to work an opportunity, a little tip from Mamet, takes it behind. The final few. Here it looks like Western will wrap up the 3 points. Continue their push to the top of the table. See their only defeat so far in the men's premiership this season coming at the hands of table toppers as of the start of today, Grange. And we'll be certainly hoping to keep the pressure on. Mackenzie. Louis Gardner loses track of it there for a little second, able to regather. Forced back and back and back here. Mackenzie. And that will end things here at the Uddingston Cricket and Sports Club.
A tough game, definitely. A really entertaining game. Especially that first half being so end to end. But I think in that final quarter, you just saw kind of frustrations boil over more than anything else, and it was just a wee bit kind of a disappointing end from what the game had started. Like it definitely slowed down from what it was.
It's a slightly different quarter four for Western as well. I should say that their game against Kampong in the Euro Hockey Leagues, they'd kept the Dutch champions largely at bay, and then it all went to pieces in quarter four as legs tired. This one much more sedate quarter four for them, keeping control of things, having gone 3-1 up earlier on. There's not too much extra to say for Uddingston. The red card obviously a big blow to fighting back into this game. And, I think after that it really became a game of holding on, and 3-1 is where it ends here. Another difficult loss for Uddingston, but perhaps this one you maybe weren't going into this game expecting 3 points. That one would have been nice, but 0 is not beyond expectations here, Alistair.
No, Western are always a tough force. We spoke about them in the EHL. That's like groundbreaking for a Scottish club, obviously. To be going to so coming up against a force like them, like coming up against Grange, is hard no matter what. So I think it was always going to be a struggle.
We should have another quick look at the goals that settled this one. So just the short corner routine working to perfection for Western Wildcats. That provided 2 of the goals. The first you see there, and he's unable to respond pretty quickly in quarter 1. Fine hit, really fine hit from Louis Garner there, and as you see, just on that reverse strike, didn't really give Grant Somerville much chance at all. It was the visitors who regained the lead. A lead they wouldn't relinquish. As we said, it's a rerun of short that was the opener. Harlan able to get a touch on it this time, but couldn't do enough to prevent it going into the back of the net. And then the third that was an absolute killer. Really well finished by Duke. Just a lot of time though in the middle of the D for Western to create that third and seal the game in the end. Not too much left for us to cover here, so thank you very much for joining us, Alistair. I'll give you one last plug for the social media channels for everyone looking to engage with Uddingston Hockey Club.
Yes, of course. Obviously we're on all the socials that you can ever need to use. Just started our brand new TikTok this week at Uddy Hockey for everything except our Facebook, which is just Uddingston Hockey Club. And yeah, just anything you want to ever see behind the scenes, wee club tour that we did. We've got snippets of the crossbar challenges that you've seen in our stream today and from the ladies' game last Thursday. So yeah, definitely some fun things, and as I was saying earlier, looking forward to some exciting things with the youth kids for Halloween.
Next up for UDDY TV as well, we're expecting the doubleheader on the 4th to be the next broadcast. There's still a couple of games from the inclement weather previously that we're waiting on rearrangements for, so just keep your eyes on socials for that one, where I hope, Alistair, it'll be more of there being me and you as part of that on the commentary team. You've been a part of it for so much. It would be lovely to have you still a part of that, and of course a little bit more of social media plugging. just that's half your job. I feel like it's like a monkey, like a zoo monkey. Just like, could you just say the lines for me, please? Just say the lines for me. Thank you. Very much appreciate it. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Obviously not the result we wanted in the end. A difficult loss for Uddingston, but we'll be back and respond. I'm sure the boys will be looking to make their way further up the table as the weeks progress and compete for that top 6 spot. Thank you very much for joining us.